Encantado de saludarte. Quería empezar preguntándote qué necesitaste saber de Elsbeth, de la serie, antes de decir que sí.
What I needed to know? I feel like because I've been able to play her for so long, because I started playing her 14 years ago, I would just trust all the writers to give me what I needed to know. Because we've had such great writers the whole way. I've learned about the character as I've been going along. But now to be playing her, more, to be in almost all of the scenes is a gift, because I learn about her every time I play her. New things, I didn't know what she was like with a true girlfriend until this series. I certainly had never rock climbed or played tennis or done any of those things that we've seen her do throughout this series. So I feel like I have the great fortune of working with very talented people who are helping me with the character the whole way.
Y durante esos 14 años, ¿fantaseaste en algún momento con tu propio spin-off?
I mean, it was suggested by fans and journalists like yourself early on when I started playing her. Oh, wouldn't it be fun to see a show with her at the center? And then Robert and Michelle King would ask, oh, do you want to do that? And I would say, yes. And then it wouldn't happen. So then I would go, oh, okay, I shouldn't think that. I shouldn't dream that. And then somebody else would say, hey, why don't we do this? And then they would say, do you want to do it? And I would say, yes. And then it wouldn't happen. And so I got to the point where I thought, let me just let this happen if it's going to happen. But I didn't expect it. I'd really let go of that dream because I'd gotten to play her not only on one show, but two, Good Wife and Good Fight. Great. And then for this to come along, I just couldn't, I still can't believe it. Mm-hmm. I still can't believe it, because it just you don't get this opportunity. Actors don't get this opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I'm very humbled by the whole thing.
¿Ha cambiado tu forma de trabajar la comedia del personaje sabiendo que eres la protagonista y no un personaje secundario?
Yeah, it has changed a little bit. I always want to make sure that I balance the comedy out with more serious stuff, making sure that it's grounded, making sure that I'm not just approaching it to make it funny. That said, I love to make people laugh. So I always want to make sure that I do that in a way that is based in some truth, because I think that makes it funnier. And so I always try to approach it very seriously, even the comedy, very seriously. I'm also a big fan of Lucille Ball. So I think, what would Lucy do in this moment? And then I will come up with a bit. I call them Elsbeths, because I just delight in doing that. And then I trust the editors to shape it in a way that's right. Sometimes some things that I do that I think are really funny, nobody sees, because they have to balance it out. They have to make sure that they're serving the whole story and not just my little comedic moments.
Conoces muy bien el personaje, pero te sigues sorprendiendo de cómo actúa frente a las cosas, incluso cómo descubre los misterios.
Yes, I'm always surprised by her. And I also like to, when I first get the script, I like to read it with fresh eyes. Don't make any judgments, don't make any choices. Just read it for the story, for the sense, and to see what jumps out as the audience. I try to be the audience when I first read the scripts. And then when I'm shaping how I'm going to do the scenes, I always have that in the back of my mind, what was surprising to me as the reader, because that's going to be what I'm going to then use for the character. Because I feel like Elsbeth is constantly surprised by things. You know, she goes into a situation not knowing anything, gets excited about, she gets seduced by the color of your shirt, the lighting, the thing, you know, and because she never knows what detail is going to be the thing that unlocks the case.
¿Te resultó arriesgada la decisión de conocer el asesino al principio de cada capítulo?
I was worried that the audience would be like, why am I watching this? I know who the killer is. And so luckily, the writing is so smart and the characters are, not just Elsbeth, but all the characters around are so well written that I think the audience enjoys not having to worry about who the killer is. Oh, okay, so we know something that the characters don't. Mm-hmm. And so it takes the pressure off of them, and then they can delight in watching how the characters work with each other to figure out who did it. So luckily, I think there's some people that want to watch a show that they don't know, and so there are about 5 million things they can pick from. Mm-hmm. So go watch those shows. But if you want to, you know, be with the characters as they discover something that you already know, then Elsbeth is for you.
Elsbeth tiene muchas ganas de hacer amigos, es muy empática y de hecho le da pena que algunos asesinos acaben en la cárcel cuando se han hecho amigos. ¿Te imaginas ella encubriendo a algún asesino para que no acabe en la cárcel?
That's a good question. Yes, she does. She makes friends wherever she goes. You know, she'll go get a slice of pizza, and then that's her best friend. So she, and I love that about her. You know, I love that curiosity about her. But what's fun about this particular series is that I think she's trying to correct some of the decisions that she's had to make as a lawyer, representing people who have done terrible things. Mm-hmm. So she wants to kind of find the truth and justice. And so I think as much as she loves a particular criminal, she's definitely going to pick the truth and the justice over her love of them.
Teorizando, viendo el último capítulo, ¿te imaginas que le hubiese gustado esto de la moda y tener una segunda temporada viajando ahora a Milán?
I think in that particular case, she was so uncomfortable and terrified to walk the runway. And it was that moment when she gets on the runway and she sees Wagner come in that she's able to finally do that, finally walk the runway because of his support. So the fact that she needed that in order just to make it down to the end of that tiny little catwalk and back, I don't think she's moving to Milan to become a model of any sort. I think she, you know, overcame that terrifying moment, and then we can call it good.
Otra opción sería viajar a Madrid, que ya te hemos visto en el autobús turístico. Aquí en España te quería presentar un personaje que tenemos que se llama Laura Lebrel, que se parece mucho a ti, y un crossover de Elsbeth con Laura Lebrel estaría muy bien.
That would be fun. She's a detective?
Yeah, sí.
Yeah, that would be good. We could do this. We could solve a crime together.
Se dice mucho que Elsbeth es la Colombo femenina.
Mm-hmm.
¿Te gustaría que cambiara a que Colombo es el Elsbeth masculino?
I don't think I could ever replace Peter Falk. I think, you know, so many people have been inspired by, you know, that character. And I mean, we had a show called Monk that was in the US that was kind of similar. There's a show on called Poker Face, that similar type thing. So I just feel lucky that I'm in a long line of those kinds of characters, but a fresh take on it, you know. Yeah.
Se ha renovado por una segunda temporada, enhorabuena. ¿Tenías la esperanza de que esto ocurriera?
I wasn't expecting it because you can't expect anything in this industry, but I was certainly hoping for it. I didn't realize how much I was hoping for it until it happened, because I just was really trying to do my best to just make as good of a show as I could, because this is a dream come true, and luckily we had an incredible team of people. You know, it takes like 200 people to make one episode of TV. So luckily I was surrounded by incredible people. And so the day that we found out that we had a second season, it happened to be our last day of shooting for the whole season. So we were all the first part of the day not wondering if we had a job after this. And then the second half of the day, knowing that we had a job to come out. So it was a great day. It was a great gift, wrap gift to have on our last day of shooting, to know that we got to do more.
Ya para acabar, ¿podremos ver algún otro personaje del universo o incluso conocer a Teddy, del que tanto se ha hablado?
I hope so. We've talked a lot about Elsbeth's past, and on The Good Wife, I mentioned at the very beginning, my very first episode, that I ever played the character 14 years ago. I mentioned offhand, I have a son. It was never talked about again. So, when you center a show around a character, you need to, maybe flesh her out a little more and learn more about. So that's when they decided, let's make him a very specific character. So we keep learning about the character all during the season, little details about him as we've gone along. So I think we've gotten to the point now where it's time to bring him into the fold. So I feel like they probably will do that at some point. I don't know when, but I think they will. So that'll be an interesting casting process.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. It's nice to meet you.